Are you ready to dominate your draft? To leave your league mates feeling bad about their teams, maybe even their lives in general? Then you want the Draft War Room. Matt Schauf of DraftSharks.com here with Jared Smola and Alex Korf to talk about the most powerful fantasy draft tool on the market. Alex, it all starts with the live sync, right?
Yep. Step one is knowing your platform, knowing what your scoring settings are, and knowing how you're going to do it. So that's where we sync with the top 11 platforms in the space. We're looking at Sleeper, we're looking at Yahoo, ESPN, some of them that I had never even heard of until I joined DraftSharks and looked at how we can get that to sync with them, and then also looking at how we can have them interface by having the sidebar while you're drafting on each of those platforms. Really, any platform out there, that's what we're going to start with.
Yeah, we built the Draft War Room. We got it on all these sites. And then there would be somebody who's like, wait a second, I play here. Can I get it here? Sure. We got you this year. As you draft, the players are constantly recalculated inside of this draft room. They're given DMVP values. Jared, tell us a little bit about what goes into those DMVP values and what that means, DMVP.
Yeah, so when you live sync, that's going to pull in your league scoring settings and starting lineup requirements, which is huge, right? If you're not factoring that into your rankings, you're doing it wrong. Your rankings aren't going to be good. You're going to draft a bad fantasy football team. So we're pulling those in. We're applying them to our projections, our award-winning projections, to give each player a DMVP value. And this is based on 17 critical factors that we found to be important when drafting a fantasy team. ADP, team needs, positional scarcity, all that stuff is factored in. And why DMVP is so crucial, it's easy to compare players in the same position, right? But how does this running back 3 compare to this, wide receiver 4? Which one is more valuable in your league at every single point of the draft? These DMVP values, and the D, by the way, is for dynamic. That's because they're changing throughout the draft based on what's available, based on your team needs. Those DMVP values are going to help you compare players at all positions across every point of your draft every time you're on the clock.
Mm-hmm. And we've got not just our basic projections, but the ceiling and floor, likelihood of hitting that ceiling, all of that powers upside mode, Alex. And that comes into play halfway through the draft, or you can toggle it on or off whenever you want to. What's important about upside mode?
Well, we're here to play to win. Second place is first loser. I don't want to make the playoffs. I want to win. So all we care about when you're getting late in your draft like that is really the upside of a player. Towards the beginning, we really, safety is a little bit more important. If you miss on your first or your second round pick, that hurts a little bit more than missing on your 9th round pick. So that's where we really focus on upside. And that's kind of a unique factor that we really weigh a lot into.
And of course, the draft room is constantly working. It's making calculations throughout as you go, giving you recommendations. But it's important to note here that you're still in control of everything. You're drafting this team. It's not going to be our team. We're just here to help you. So like I said, if you want to switch off upside mode, go for it later in the draft. You want to switch it on earlier to see where the ceiling is? Go for it. You don't like the projection on a specific player or two? You can change that even, although I wouldn't recommend touching too many of those, right, Jared?
I wouldn't recommend it, but you do you.
Every once in a while, we're not going to be right about every single player. So, if there's somebody you don't like nearly as much as we do, maybe move them down. If it's a little bit, then just skip that player and go to the next one. You can flag players along the way. You can leave yourself notes. Maybe when you're first looking through your draft war room, you're like, okay, I want to remember him right here. I want to keep in mind this injury that we're watching. I want to know that he's the handcuff for this player. Leave those notes. They'll be saved for when you draft. And you can click any player on the board and it opens his detailed player page in a new tab. Doesn't take you out of the draft room because we know you want to stay there and you don't want to lose your way in the middle of the draft. Plenty of other features in here too, right, Alex? Tell us some of the other things that people can just tell at a glance while they're drafting.
Well, one of the most important ones is ADP. So we want to make sure that you aren't drafting someone way above ADP because you maybe could just get them a little bit later. So we want platform-specific ADP. Each platform's a little bit different. And that's really important. Looking at bye weeks, we want to make sure you have coverage. Everyone has week 13 bye week, for example. You don't want that. As well as strength of schedule, just kind of having an idea of how a player is going to look. And then the one of the more important ones is the injury predictor. We have a proprietary algorithm where we actually, based on historical factors, can look at predicting the injuries of a player going forward. And that's really unique. It has it on really, really important players in particular.
And of course, it's not saying this guy is going to get hurt this year, but it's saying these guys are a little bit more likely to miss some time this year. So you might want to shift how you draft them. Maybe earlier in the draft, it might be somebody that you skip. Midway through, you just get proper insurance for it. Jared, what are some other things that people can expect to find inside their draft war room?
Yeah, you're going to find tiers on your war room, and you can see those by the DMVP values as well. There's big gaps, that's a tier, but you will also see in there which tier each player lands in, and that's again according to your league specific scoring system, which is huge. A draft grid. Some sites have nice draft grids, some don't. I think our draft grid on the draft forum is better than what you're going to find on a lot of these commissioning sites. Then we also have little icons next to players. We'll denote sleepers, handcuffs, our favorite breakout picks, players that are injured or high injury risk. You can see all that stuff at a quick glance with icons on your draft war room.
Yeah, and of course, there's not going to be one of those on every player because not every player has a differentiating thing like that. Otherwise, that's kind of pointless. It's like if everybody's special, nobody's special. But it highlights guys that you either want to know about for positive or negative reasons. So if you're not ready to check out the draft war room yet, then I guess I don't really know what you're looking for because there's a lot in there and it's all gonna work easily for you while you draft. If you are ready to embarrass the competition on draft day, click the link on your screen right now to start your run to a championship.